Hi everyone, Martin Bamford here with a quick update following the latest GDP figures as speculation mounts that Plan B will not be the end of new COVID restrictions. The latest stats are out and the UK economy grew by a tepid 0.1% in October. Most economists thought we should see a 0.4% growth in October, so this is a disappointing one. According to the latest official figures, robust performance for the health sector and second-hand car sales was insufficient to drive strong economic growth. Falling sales for restaurants, reduced oil extraction and lower gas use all dragged economic growth lower than expected by economists. And as a result of these latest figures, the size of the UK economy remains 0.5% smaller than it was before the onset of a pandemic all the way back in March 2020. It seems to be taking forever for the size of UK GDP to be restored to its pre-pandemic levels. What are we now, like 20 months into this pandemic, and we're still not there? One part of the UK economy returning to its pre-pandemic size is the services sector, which has bounced back, but it's not the private services sector that's largely supporting the economy, but the public sector, and in particular remote GP appointments. Yes, that favourite topic of angry talk radio commentators. Why can't I see my feckless GP face to face anymore? Grumble, grumble, grumble. What do these figures mean for us then? Well, one result is a reduced likelihood of the Bank of England's Monetary Policy Committee hiking interest rates as previously expected at their rate setting meeting, which takes place next week. While a pre-Christmas rate hike can't be completely ruled out as policymakers continue grappling with rising prices, and I think the realisation now that inflation is not transitory. Financial markets are now pricing in a better chance of that rate hike happening in the new year. Uncertainty surrounding the Omicron variant of COVID-19 is another factor that's likely to lead to the delay of an interest rate hike, and it makes it more likely to happen at their February meeting. But I'll come back to Omicron in just a moment. Are these latest official figures an indication of a stuttering economy, or one that's just pausing for breath before resuming more substantial growth? Well, global supply chain challenges remain a dominant factor for both economic performance and price inflation, constraining the availability of both raw materials and finished goods. Grant Fitzner, who's the ONS chief economist, said the UK health sector again grew strongly, while second-hand car sales and employment agencies also boosted the economy. Fitzner also reported the most significant decline in the construction sector since April 2020, saying there had been notable falls in house building and infrastructure work, these partly driven by the shortages in raw materials. So that global supply chain challenge striking again. Chancellor Rishi Sunak responded to the figures, saying the government had always acknowledged that there could be bumps on the road to recovery. He said, "We have still been recovering quicker than expected, with more employees on payroll than ever before and redundancies remaining low." That's a bit of a don't look over here comment, isn't it? I've also got a comment here from Julian Jessup, the economics fellow at the free market think tank, the Institute of Economic Affairs, who said the growth of just 0.1% in the UK economy in October suggests that the recovery was already stalling, even before the scare over the Omicron variant. The latest business and consumer surveys are more encouraging, and activity should have picked up in November. Unfortunately, and perhaps unnecessarily, the economy will now be whacked again by Plan B. Okay, let's talk about Plan B. We're not expecting these measures to lead to a recession for the UK. So remember that the technical definition of a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of economic decline. We're not in that territory yet, even though we are seeing some quite tepid growth. The truth is, we're pretty much used to these measures that are being introduced already. We've become long used to all of this. Working from home? Check. Wearing masks while out shopping? Check. Being a sensible, decent human being and just doing a quick lateral flow test to make sure you're not going to kill your elderly relatives before you visit them for Christmas. Check. I hope. So overall, Plan B is likely to have a limited effect on the economy. But, and this is a big but, some sectors will get hurt by this. And I feel for those operating in the hospitality sector. They were banking on a decent Christmas performance to help restore some semblance of profitability. Bars, restaurants, hotels, and also leisure providers. These sectors have a really tough few months ahead, depending on how long the Plan B measures stay in place. The Nighttime Industries Association, who represents represent nightclubs. They've warned of a devastating impact from the introduction of COVID passports, something that's within Plan B. And they know about this because COVID passports have been enforced for some time already in Scotland and in Wales, and they've recorded there reduced attendance at nightclubs as a result. Matthew Fell, Policy Director at the CBI, that's the Confederation of British Industry, said fresh restrictions are a big setback for businesses, particularly those in hospitality and retail, who are in a critical trading period, i.e. Christmas, as well as others such as transport. Perhaps more concerning for the economy is talk, as I record this video, about the introduction of Plan C. So press reports suggest that the government is already working up this so-called Plan C for potential introduction in the new year if Omicron cases continue to surge. And of course they will continue to surge. It's the winter, and current data from South Africa, where Omicron was first identified, suggests that it's around 4.2 times more transmissible than the Delta variant was. And of course, the Delta variant was much more transmissible than the original version of COVID. So Omicron cases in the UK are currently doubling every 2 to 3 days. And here's a quick reminder of exponential growth if you need it. It would only therefore take 27 doubling events, so 2 to 3 months' time at the current pace, for everyone, every single person in the United Kingdom to have the Omicron variant. What might Plan C COVID restrictions involve? Well, it is all pure speculation right now, but it could mean that you have to use the COVID check-in app. Have you still got that on your phone? You can have to use that when visiting bars and restaurants. It could mean compulsory face mask wearing for all indoor spaces, and it could mean widening the requirement for a vaccine passport to access smaller venues. As things stand, it's only for venues with a capacity of more than 500 people. So Plan C might also restore that old requirement scrapped back in the summer to self-isolate for 10 days if you're a close contact of someone with COVID. So all of this could potentially slam the brakes on any economic growth. It could even lead to an economic decline. But as I said earlier, we'd need 2 consecutive quarters of that to get to the technical definition of a recession. If Plan C comes into force in the new year, it will only fuel stagflation. But I'm increasingly confident that we're already in a stagflation environment in the UK. Low growth and rising prices. The only thing we don't have at the moment is rising unemployment. Those rising prices are largely out of our control in the UK, which is why I think the Bank of England has not yet pulled the trigger on an interest rate hike, at least not yet. What would be the point if higher interest rates meant more pain to businesses and families because they have to pay more interest, but no tangible impacts on price inflation? I think that's why the Bank of England has held off to date, probably while they'll continue holding off while price inflation factors are out of our hands. They're not about what's going on here in the UK economy and about interest rates here, they're about global factors. I'd love to hear what you think on this one. Do let me know in the comments. I read every comment and I do my best to reply to them all, even the mean ones. Thank you for watching this video. Until next time, I'm Martin Bamford, and remember, when it comes to your money, the more you know, the faster it can grow.